Good morning and welcome to StudyIQ. I am Prashant Mavani. I hope you're doing good, my dear friends. Today is 1st December, Saturday. Today, let's start our discussion with Benjamin Franklin's quote. It takes many good deeds to build a good reputation and only one bad one to lose it. It's something similar with trust as well. Once you lose it, it becomes nearly impossible to win it back. So always make sure that your reputation as well as this trust factor, right? If people are trusting you, then it's a big responsibility on you that you have to maintain that trust. With this, dear friends, our pen drive and tablet courses are available for various different exams. As you can see on your screen, we have covered UPSC courses, UPSC optional subjects, SSC and bank, railway courses, defense exams, state public service commission exams, and much more. You can check out demo lectures on StudyIQ.com. And if you have any question or queries, feel free and give us a call on the numbers that you can see on your screen. But I'm sure once you visit StudyIQ.com, it's going to be very easy for you to understand what we have for you guys. With this, dear friends, we have 4 articles on our table. Today is Saturday, so we don't have that many articles. And the most important article, and indeed it's a very interesting article as well, because this neighborhood first, right? This article is one of the most important article. It is talking about this change that we can see in our approach when it comes to our neighborhood. Then the second article that we are going to talk about is this one. I'm sure many of you have identified this flag here. This flag belongs to European Union, and of course you can see Indian flag as well. So it's about India and European Union's relationship. Many things to learn from this article as well. This one is about this death debate. A couple of days ago, I provided you with this news item in which we read that Justice Kurian Joseph, who is Supreme Court Justice of our country, he talked about this death debate. So basically about death penalty, that we need to get rid of this death penalty. We need to be a bit more thoughtful about this death penalties. So it's again a very interesting article. I strongly believe that we are going to find some more articles on this debate, this death debate, in near future. So today's article will work as a base for us. And then we have this wage drag. It's about a latest report that has been released by International Labour Organization. So dear friends, without wasting any further time, let's crack on with this neighborhood first. Now, on your screen, you can see Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and you can see Mr. Soli as well. Let me zoom it up for you guys in case if you cannot see him. So here you have Mr. Soli, who is a new, fresh president of Maldives. Now, Maldives is a neighboring country. I'll give you background about India and Maldives relationship. Even today, I clearly remember this incident that it was somewhere in March 2015. When Prime Minister Narendra Modi was supposed to visit 4 countries, right? 4 island nations. The first one was Sri Lanka. I'm not giving you in line, but total there were 4 countries, right? So the first one was Sri Lanka, say for example. The second one was Maldives. Then the third one was Mauritius, and the fourth one was Seychelles. So back in 2014, our Prime Minister was going to visit all these 4 countries, but all of the sudden, this Maldives was cancelled. This visit to Maldives was cancelled, and one of the main reasons was at that point of time, the government that was ruling this country till now, this is Yemen's government, was very harsh on opposition leader. Now, Maldives is a democratic country, and when your president is misbehaving with your opposition leaders, that means that the democracy is not working well in your country. So this was one reason, right, that Mr. Modi cancelled his visit. The second reason was this harsh approach, or I would say that there was a bit of negativity from Maldivian side as well towards India. So this was second reason. The third reason was that we were not happy with this string of pearls. String of pearls means China's, penetration in Indian Ocean. China built this Hambantota and Gwadar port, and it has also bought an island, an atoll from this Maldives for in a long lease term. So this is something that India is not happy about, because China's dominance or penetration in this region is a bit of red flag for us. Then we have this Wahhabism sort of ideology penetrating in Maldives. So I have given you like 4 reasons why India was not that happy with Maldives. This Wahhabism thing is something that is promoted by Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Arabia is also looking forward to purchase some islands, and the talks were going on between Saudi Arabia and the previous government, this Yemen's government. So this again was a red flag for India. And the 5th item, and the last one as far as this background is concerned, I'm being very brief here, I'm just giving you main points here, right? So the 5th was, as I was talking about this Wahhabism, right? Maldives is infamous for its youngsters joining ISIS, right? So Wahhabism, ISIS thing, China, all these things are a security threat for India. And apart from that, this not that good behavior from the previous president. These were a few reasons why Prime Minister cancelled his visit of 2015 to Maldives. So this time when Prime Minister was there, this was the first time Prime Minister Narendra Modi was here in this neighboring country called Maldives as a Prime Minister. Now that's very interesting, because Prime Minister Modi has visited Pakistan as well, and he has not visited Maldives till now. So this indicates that you can understand there was a big valley between these two countries. In the sense, there was a big gap, or a vacuum was there when it comes to relationship between Maldives and India. Now the other thing is, this is after 7 years, we are finding our Indian Prime Minister visiting Maldives. So this is again a very interesting thing. For the first time, Mr. Modi attended swearing-in ceremony of any leader. So that's again another first, right, in this list of firsts. Now, interesting observation that Prime Minister Modi was not on the stage. In fact, he was there, one among the audience rather than on stage. So that indicates that our approach has been a bit softer, or we are going ahead with a, I would say, soft approach is something that is our trend at present, or this is something that we are following at present. Because if we go back and look at the relationship between India and Nepal, again a neighboring country, and of course we are talking about our neighboring countries, like China as well is our neighboring country, and after this Doklam phase was one of the worst phase in recent past. But after that we saw this Wuhan meeting that took place between Mr. Xi Jinping and Mr. Modi. Mr. Modi visited China and had an informal chat. They were hanging out with each other for some 3-4 days, and they had this informal chat, and after that we can see that things have been mended, ties are repaired now, and we can see, we are talking about more in much more cordial way, rather than that aggression that was visible during this Doklam era or Doklam phase. So we have repaired our ties with China. So that's again a soft approach. We can clearly deduce this thing. Then we have Nepal. We were a bit harsh on Nepal as well. This 2015 blockade was something that was not taken very well by people of Nepal. There was anti-India protest in some parts of Nepal as well. We tried our level best to get rid of this. In fact, we were politically involved. We were interfering with internal politics of Nepal. India was anti KP Sharma Oli, and then fresh election took place in Nepal in 2018, and Mr. Oli was re-elected. And when he was re-elected, after that we can see a soft approach from our side. Before Mr. Oli had been invited to form the government, Sushma Swaraj ji visited Nepal, and she had a chat with Mr. Oli. So this is again an indication that from last few months, right, I would say, or in late 2017, and after that till now, our approach, earlier on we were a bit harsh, but now, or hard, but now we are going ahead with a sort of soft approach. So why we are doing this thing, we are going to understand this thing as well. But first of all, let me take you through some more facts. Now, as far as this Nepal is concerned, right, this blockade was a big thing because Nepal is a landlocked country, and most of the items at that point of time, all right, they were, means I would say 95% plus items were going from India in Nepal, like petrol, diesel, and other things. But after this blockade, Nepal learned its own lesson as well. So now Nepal is importing items from China as well. So now Nepal has two options, and because Nepal is having this option of China, now India, we don't have any other option. We have to be a bit soft with Nepal, isn't it? So this is one of the main reasons as well. It's not all about India. It means other players, like say for example 2 players interacting with each other like Nepal and China, this will impact our approach as well. So this is how it works. It's like a game of chess, it's when it comes to diplomacy, when it comes to geopolitics, we don't have any permanent friends and we don't have any permanent enemies as well. So today our relationship is not that good with Pakistan, but it can change. Like look at Maldives. A couple of years ago it was so bad with Maldives, but now things have changed, right? So this is how it works. Now, Mr. Modi is going to visit Nepal this month, and this is going to be his 3rd visit after this 2018 election that took place in Nepal. So here again you can see that number of visits, like 2. Already he has been there twice, and now this is for the 3rd time he's going to be there for this Vivah Panchami festival. So this indicates that India is getting more and more soft with Nepal, or we are trying to mend or to take our relationship to altogether to a new level. Then when it comes to Maldives, when emergency was declared in recent past, at that point of time many Western countries like USA, UK, other European Union and other groups were expecting India, or they were in fact encouraging India that we should take a sort of harsh or military steps on this Maldives government, and we said that we don't want to interfere with any country's internal politics. So this is again an indication of a soft approach. Apart from that, when this Yamin government was about to vanish or fade away at that point of time, this Yamin government also denied visa extension to all our Indian peoples. Most of Indian peoples who are working here who are in fact working in Maldives. So at that point of time, visa extension facility was denied to Indian people, and at that point of time as well, India said that giving visa is totally about, or giving or not giving visa is a decision that a central government takes in any country, and they have right to take decision as if they think that Indians don't deserve a visa extension, then that's their choice. We don't want to interfere. So here is one more example. Now, in recent past, we saw this elections took place in Bhutan. Now, with Bhutan, we don't have that many problems, but let me tell you that we are engaged in Bhutan. We are building many hydropower projects in Bhutan, and sadly, some of them are going on for a very long period of time now. So they are becoming more costly. You can understand when your projects are not completed in a given point of time, then it will add more cost. So there are few parties out there, or there are few people or voices out there in Bhutan. They are not that happy with India. Of course, they do appreciate the relationship India and Bhutan share with each other. But it's not that if we have this outstanding relationship with Bhutan that at one point of time this Doklam issue was between Bhutan and China. But we stepped in because we have this extraordinary friendship with Bhutan. But that does not mean that we cannot have a sort of, you can say, some sort of harsh or some bitter chats. In fact, a good relationship is a relationship in which you can share both sweet and bitter things with each other, isn't it? So in Bhutan as well, there were a few voices. So we refrained, or we have not interfered with the elections that just concluded in Bhutan. Bangladesh is going for election as well. And Sheikh Hasina government has been a very friendly government with Indian government or India. And opposition is pro-Pakistan and anti-India. But then as well, we are not interfering with Bangladesh. The situation of Sri Lanka, we have talked about it. There is this triangle of Rajapaksa, Vikramasinghe and Sirisena. So political crises are going on in Sri Lanka as well, but we are not interfering over there as well. Recently, if you are following Press Information Bureau analysis, then I am going to talk about this. In fact, I have already talked about this particular topic, right? This thing, that Moscow conference, in which Afghanistan government had a conversation with Taliban people, and our officials were present over there. We sent 2 retired officials over there, diplomats over there, to take part in this conference that took place in Moscow. We have talked about this thing it was in news, but again, for new students, I'm just repeating it, and for regular students, it's just going to be a sort of a revision for you guys. So we were present in this Moscow conference as well. From last 20 years, we have said this thing, that we cannot have any sort of discussion with Taliban, right? There is no good Taliban or bad Taliban. That has been our position from last 20 years. But now we are sensitive, and we are being a bit realistic here by taking part in this Moscow conference. So things, means all the things that we have talked about so far, one thing is clear, that our stance, our position is a bit different from what it used to be. And 2 union ministers were present in this inauguration ceremony of this Kartarpur corridor. And Kartarpur corridor is also compared with, or it is said that Kartarpur corridor will have same effect like this fall of Berlin Wall. You know how Germany was divided into 2 parts after this World War II. We had one East Germany and West Germany. West Germany was running under USA, UK and France, and East Germany was under USSR. So this portion was a bit more developed, this portion was a bit less developed and more autocratic, and this one was a bit more democratic, and there was a wall was created between this, this Berlin Wall was created, and there were 2 countries. So in 1990s, or in 1990 to be precise, there was this fall of Berlin Wall, and then this Germany was united. So it will have same effect, right? Of course, I can understand, and we all can understand, we are not going to see one country like India and Pakistan. They are not going to become one country in near future, of course. But if this Kartarpur corridor can add, or if it can cement those cracks, then that's a good start anyways. So that's everything in this article. I'm sure we have discussed many things, and we have covered things that are of course not part of this article, but I have tried my level best to give you all those details that are necessary to understand what's going on as far as our neighborhood policy is concerned. So in a nutshell, I can say that earlier on our approach was a bit hard, but now it is getting a bit softer and softer, and that's not bad. Moving on to another item. This is about together in an uncertain world. What's the uncertainty that we find? Because that we find in today's world, uncertainty that we find is this Mr. Trump's stand, this protectionism that we are finding, then anti-globalization moves that have been displayed by many countries. So all these things are creating this uncertainty in the world. 14 years ago, European Union came out with this 2004's EU-India declaration, and it has not created or delivered results. But now, last week, European Union released, after 14 years, a strategy on India. Thomas Kozlowski, who is EU's ambassador to India, said that India is on the top of the agenda of the EU in the field of external relations. This strategy paper reflects that EU has taken India's priorities very seriously. We are ready for a joint leap. This is a statement coming from European Union. Now let me take you through European Union here. As you can see here, this is European Union, and we were talking about this South Asia, isn't it? Maldives and Pakistan and all these neighboring countries. So what we are trying to achieve under SAARC, that is South Asian Association of Regional Cooperation, we are trying to achieve something what European Union has achieved. European Union is a bloc. It's an economic bloc. They are partners with each other in terms of economy. So it's just like, in our country, you can enter from one state to another. You can go there for work, and you can export your items, import items from Madhya Pradesh to Gujarat and Gujarat to Kashmir and Tamil Nadu, and mix and match. In the same way, you can do the same things, right, in European Union as well. So this is just a very basic explanation of what European Union is all about. It's about a continent, but then you have few countries who are sharing this extraordinary relationship with each other under this big umbrella called European Union. Now, European Union have, or EU, I would rather call it EU. So EU has been traditionally a bit shy in using its hard power tools. It has always used its soft power, and it has always this shyness was a bit visible in European Union or EU's behavior, but now things have changed. We know that this attack that took place in this city of Nice, and then you have German attacks, and then in other parts of Spain as well. In Barcelona there was an attack, if I can remember, in a busy street there was this terror attack. Nowadays they are using cars and other new ways of this. They are known as lone wolf attacks. So this sort of things are taking place in various different cities of Europe, and there is a sort of radicalization as well. So terrorism, radicalization, extremism, terrorist financing, all these things are common concerns between India and Europe. There are other commonalities between India and Europe. We have this democratic ethos, democratic values that we share with each other. So when you have this sort of commonalities, it becomes a bit easier for any two person or any two parties to befriend, right? And then you have common concerns regarding Afghanistan. You have common concerns regarding Central Asia. Rise of China is a big threat for European Union, because at the end of the day, European Union is all about democracy, and it's about rules and regulations, and China is a bit misbehaving many a times. So rise of European Union, the rise of China is a bit of a red flag, I would say, for EU. And then in last few years, if we observe overall relationship, then we find that relationship between India and France has gone up, India and Germany gone up, India and Italy and other countries as well. Our relationship has improved. Individual relationship of India and various different countries of EU has gone up, but as a block it was not doing that well. But now when we have this individual relationship between EU nations and India at its peak, if we can put it this way, then there is nothing that can hold back this EU as well. So these are the few things that are going on in last few years that has helped these two parties to come a bit closer to each other. EU emerged as India's largest trading partner and biggest foreign investor. There is a widespread disappointment about China, as I already said. Then Mr. Trump's behavior has been taken a bit negatively, and of course, right, EU is all about, as I told you, democracy and rules and regulations, and here Mr. Trump is disrupting everything. So EU is looking for a new market, new partner, and India is a very good option. International Solar Alliance, EU is going to become part of this thing, and so there are so many common things that we have discussed, and we have also talked about this thing many a times, that when it comes to Netherlands, we are taking their help in from waste to wealth sort of strategy. When our Prime Minister was there in this Scandinavian country at that point of time as well, he talked about this waste to wealth, and UK, France, Germany, they are helping us in smart cities, they are helping us in many metro projects, they are helping us in cleaning our Ganga and other things. So skill development, environmental regenerations, cybersecurity, urbanization, there are so many things, right, that we can get from European Union. So that's everything. Now let's talk about this death debate. Now, there was a case called Bachchan Singh case of 1980s, and at that point of time it was decided that this death penalty should be awarded only in the rarest of the rare cases. Now, before we talk about this death penalty, I would like to give you this example. Just imagine if you have a person and that person is not feeling well now, and if this person visits a doctor and the doctor finds out that that person has has always has never looked after his or her health. That person has smoked and chewed tobacco and not sleeping, taking enough sleep and not eating right food and everything possible, right? Taking drinks and wrong medicines, and so now that person's health is not fine. Now, just imagine, rather than helping that person, if that doctor will start abusing and beating that particular person because of that person's you can say that person has not looked after his wealth, then we would not call that doctor as a professional doctor, isn't it? Because a doctor's main job is, if patient is right or wrong, doctor's main job is to make sure that he is helping that particular patient, isn't it? So that's what we call a professional doctor. In the same way, we have to understand this thing when we talk about judges and judiciary. It's not about vengeance, it's not about revenge, it's not about killing someone, right? It's about delivering justice. It's about protecting people, right? And of course, I do understand this thing, that when we hear this sort of cases like Nirbhaya case, and when we hear when someone who is near and dear to us, if they are going through some pain, or if they have been a victim of heinous crime, then the first emotion that will come in my mind or anyone's mind is to kill that person, or that person should be hanged till death, and that person should be buried alive. And we think about this thing, it's a very natural thing. But judiciary cannot behave in this, you can say, professional manner. They have to uphold this values. They have to be professional. And so this is something that I would like you guys to think from this angle as well. Now, around the world, we are finding this debate, or this wisdom is going on, that we need to get rid of this death penalty, because there are so many reports as well. Like, death penalty is not helping us in curbing crimes. In fact, rather than death penalty, if a person is kept behind the bar, and if that person is been educated and informed, and if jails start performing, then as well we can see a big change in society. Because what we find is, the sad thing is, when someone is in jail for a couple of years, when that person will be reintroduced in the society, in our country, we don't find that person as a new person. In fact, we find that person new person, but in a bad way. That person will have more contacts with these goons and hooligans. So this is something that at present our jails, most of them are you can say this breeding ground for, they are like launch pads. You are a small criminal, petty criminal, and then when you go to jail and stay and hang around with a few bad people, and when you come out, you become a bit bigger goon. So this is something that needs to end. So Law Commission report of 2015 as well says that we have observed that there has been an arbitrariness and freakishness in avoiding death penalty, because we find nowadays this protest and means in social media awareness has gone up. People, you find them talking or debating about, or they are asking for death penalty on roads, on social media. There are people who are asking for death penalty on this media discussions and other places. So judges are as well, they are human beings, and there are high chances that they can come under this influence of this public demand. And this could be one of the reasons why nowadays we find that this death penalty is something that is becoming quite common nowadays. So we have to save our system from this thing, and this food for thought that has been provided by our Justice Joseph, we should not ignore this thing. And there are a few other facts as well that can be taken into consideration. So that's everything. Now let's move on to last report or last article of the day. It's about this International Labour Organization. And remember, this is a very important fact here, that global wage report is released by ILO, that is International Labour Organization. Now, in a nutshell, it's not that difficult to understand article. You find few figures here. Of course, once you download this file, you can go through this figure. I'll give you the main nutshell of this wage drag. Now, imagine a product in a market. The price of this product today is 100 rupees, and next year, after 1 year, the price of this product becomes 105. So we can clearly say that there has been an increase of 5%, right, in price, or inflation has been 5% as far as this particular product is concerned. Inflation or price rise in this particular product. Inflation again is going to be a bit technical, right? It's a price rise in everything, and we are talking about just one product here, so we cannot call it inflation, but just for your understanding, right? So it was 100 rupees earlier on, but now it is 105. And just imagine if your salary was 100 rupees per month. Just imagine, right? It's not going to be that. So it was 100 rupees per month last year, but now your salary is 101 rupees, right? After 1 year. So there is a rise of 1%, but things are rising by 5%. So here you can see a mismatch. So this mismatch is something that is visible. Inflation is bit higher compared to what people are earning or what people get from their jobs, and here you find various different averages and you can say figures. So help yourself, and it's going to be very easy. It's not difficult to understand the article. Now let's go through some latest news items. As you can see on your screen, farmers march from Ramlila Maidan towards Parliament. They are not happy about this agriculture situation in our country. Now, before moving on to latest news items, let me tell you that, say, news items, this news that I am providing you guys, right, you have to read these items from the Hindu newspaper. These items that I am providing you, they are just hints for you guys, right? It's just an indication that these are few important items. So please help yourself with this. You have to read. There is no option at all. There is no substitute of hard work at all, right? I am trying my level best to give you most important items that we find in the Hindu newspaper. I also make sure that I do provide you some items that are from Economical Times and Financial Express and other pink papers too. So Manipur Supreme Court rejected this army officer's plea. It's about this Armed Force Special Power Act. Then you have this growth slows to 7.1%. We're talking about oil prices going up and rupee value coming down. So naturally we are going to find, it was predicted that we will see a sort of drop, but things will pick up. That's what experts are saying. It's very sad that a former coal secretary, an IAS officer, has been convicted in this coal gate, that is coal corruption case. Army not ready for women in combat roles. This has been said by Army General Chief. Remember, it's not this women lot, it's Army that is not ready. Gujarat officers get all key posts, has been said by, or this statement has been issued by Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister. Fake news affects voting behavior in a big way. Very interesting article in today's The Hindu newspaper. Go through this too as well. Now, two items. Mr. Modi meets Trump, Putin ahead of G20 summit. Yesterday I provided you this picture-based quiz, and many of you have got it right. It's about G20 that is taking place in Argentina. Paris Agreement cannot be renegotiated, has been said by our C.K. Mishra, Secretary, Union Minister for Environment, Forest and Climate Change. He has said that we cannot negotiate. In fact, what we need to do is we need to make sure that we are achieving this targets that we have set for ourselves under this Paris Agreement. And a big meeting is going to take place in Poland, as you all know. Yesterday, this was again your question. So on 3rd December, we are going to have this COP24, that is Conference of Parties 24 meeting in Poland. Here you have some more details about this G20, what are few hurdles that we may face, and advertisement from Maharashtra government. Now, I want you guys to pay attention to this measles and rubella vaccination campaign that is going on around our country, right? So few details, help yourself with this thing. You can of course download the PDF of today's lecture, go through the vocabs, and yesterday's picture is about G20. Today I have new pick-based quiz for you guys. Can you tell me why these four ladies are in news, right? Why they are in news? You have their names here, so it's not going to be that difficult. Yesterday's answer is here, and these are two new questions for you guys. Tomorrow is Sunday, so I'm going to see you guys as soon as possible. I'm going to bring out a very interesting topic on milk for you guys. You can download the PDF of today's lecture from my FB page and Twitter handle. Please make sure that you share this lecture with other students. It's very important that you share, and enjoy your weekend. I'll see you tomorrow. God bless you all. Jai Hind.